My name is Isaac Aden, and this is my most recent exhibition. It's called the Numinous Sublime. So I love paint. I love to paint. I like standing in front of a landscape and doing a painting. But the idea is that irrelevant, right? Like at a certain point I can't do any more paintings. And it's to try to figure out a way to engage paint and yet let it be relevant. With this body of work, what happened was it started very organically. I was working almost exclusively with gray and orange. I was painting one color of gray into the gray and then another color, but it was fluorescent orange because it was also reflecting light in a different way. And I was like, wait a minute, that's great. And I kind of thought, wow, could I turn that into a painting? Because it was really just kind of like a drawing. I thought I'd just do a couple of them. And then the work just kept opening up. And I kept finding more places and more obvious directions to go. The way that I make them is rather unconventional. It's like doing dance or playing sports, and you don't think about, catching a ball or kicking a ball. You just do it. It just happens instinctually. These paintings are kind of a micro-macro version. On a very small scale, it's almost like electrons and protons. And at the bigger side, it's almost like nebulous, like the universe. These paintings, they build very slowly, like it's almost like Butoh dancing. It's like I'm moving and I'm just seeing clouds of gas, very, very slow. It's not a monochrome, it has a sense of depth. But if it's compacted, then you don't have the same quality. It just doesn't work as well. It really needs more space so that it can happen much, much slower. So that when you look at one individual section, you almost don't see anything at all. Gray to me is very significant because it's the basis of reality. It's the distinguishing quality that makes something look real optically. And then it has a lot of other connotations, socio-political things that you could apply onto it. And orange also has, socio-political connotations from caution to danger to fire and warmth. I don't always like to show the behind the scenes because, well, it's my own, anxiety or whatever. But basically, this is done, really by hand, all of it. I don't have tons of assistants and resources. I don't think ambition has to be synonymous with wealth. And I'm trying to compete with some of these mega galleries or big shows, but really it's like me and this guy, we built these stretchers by hand. When I think about American art, it obviously owes a lot to European art. I think about Claude Lorrain, who's a French painter. In the early period of landscape, most of the time it was figure painting, and the landscape would just be hitting in the background. And then what happened with Claude is eventually started having figures in a landscape. The figures would stay the same size, but the painting would become bigger. And then landscapes get bigger and more abstract with Turner, and then it starts to get kind of blurry with the tonalists and Barbizon painters. And I can see a through line through that then to color field, minimalism, abstract expressionism. So I think all of those things are related, and I bring all of that into the paintings. We don't know if this is Mexico or is it in mountains, in Alaska. There's no distinguishable geographic point. In that same way, there's no figures, so that they could be located any time or space. I don't want there to be a rubric of knowledge that you have to have ahead of time to be able to appreciate the paintings. And I want them to have a personal experience with the painting. In transitional moments of light, you become more aware of time and the elapsing of time. The individual viewer is going to have a moment where they're going to think about, oh, a summer and I was in this specific place and this thing was happening. I'm allowing the viewer to say, this is what I'm going to take from it, and they can relate it to their own experiences. It's much more universally compelling.